Hi everyone, my name is Charlie and this is Charlie.
Hello.
And welcome to It's a Charlie Thing. And today I'm going to hand it straight over to Charlie. What have we got in store for them today?
We've got loads of stuff in store today, Charlie. We are going to talk about some book to movie adaptations that are coming out that I'm excited for. We've also got some releases some January releases that's like a mixture of hardbacks and paperbacks. Yeah, also we're going to be talking about our plans for the year or not, depending on where we're sitting with it. We've got controversy, I think, coming up about that, and currently reading, like things that we've been up to. Just so much and more, like a lot of stuff.
A typical Charlie chat.
This is what,
this is generally like when we talk to one another, our conversations go all over the place. Like we can.
There will be tangents that we jump on,
grief-stricken one moment chatting about like traumatic things from the past, and then the next second it's all comedy mocking like celebrity culture and that sort of thing, and each other. We regularly do that. So yeah, strap in, folks, for the Charlie tangents of the week. Anyway,
and we haven't actually, because I'm okay. I was just gonna say, because this is like one of the few times when we've recorded where we haven't had a big chat first. So this is actually, I feel like this is a real Charlie chat, like a real.
I think that is the podcast's fault, though. Like it's only been 1 week and we're already like, we can't talk about that yet because it will be good for the pod. So it is kind of making this entire friendship transactional.
No.
But at the same time, we are inviting people in to just view us in our natural habitat.
No, I feel like this is just we're just having that. And also this morning is like, we've been busy, and like this is the first chance we've had, really. So one thing I do want to note, so I am well, Charlie. I hope you are well too. But it's snowing, like here where I am, it's snowing and it's so beautiful. I'm in a different place where I'm filming. The people that are watching on YouTube can probably see that. And I'm literally looking out the window and I can see snow, and it's because I don't have to drive anywhere today. I'm very excited for it. If I had to drive, I'd be a little bit like more anxious.
The snow here we got on Sunday. I was about to take the dog out for a walk. The snow started, and then she saw it and she's like, "No, not happening. Not leaving the house today." I was like, "Fine." So I'd already been hunkered down under blankets in like this great big cocoon. I'd been reading, drinking tea, having a great time, really. Then I was thinking, "Oh, but I've got work tomorrow." So I immediately turned to my mother and say, "Do you fancy giving me a lift?" Because we go down the same road in the morning. It's just she has to leave an hour earlier. And it actually proved to be the good thing, because even though I left the house with my mother an hour earlier yesterday, due to the road conditions, due to the fact that everybody was going back to work, it took me nearly an hour to get there. So I actually arrived at the time I usually arrive when I leave the house an hour after.
Oh, wow.
So,
Charlie, it's a lot.
So I was grateful of the lift, and considering that we've had more snow today, I might be, falling on the mercy of my mother again tomorrow.
And we did look, because we looked both of, like, I was showing Charlie out the window, and Charlie did point out that, you've got a few more inches of snow than me at the moment. But ours has only just started, so we did have a little bit at the weekend. But
I'm definitely thinking this isn't going to be gone by tomorrow, not unless we get some dramatic heat wave in the next 4 hours.
I am decidedly happy that we took Oscar back last night, because like that would be trying to drive back. I don't like driving in the snow. I don't know about you guys listening, but I cannot. And you're obviously the same, Charlie. I just don't know. I can drive, but if it's snowing, I don't know. It makes me a little bit anxious. And our street in particular, that's the initial bit is the scariest bit, trying to get out your street when you try not to crash into your neighbours' cars.
Yeah, we're on side streets. When you get onto the main bus routes, you're usually okay.
Should we start with book to movie adaptations that I've seen about? You up for that?
I'm actually quite interested to see what's on this list, because Lord knows I need some movies to say I'm going to watch and then 20 years later finally get to them.
I'll have to excuse my shuffling.
Which I will talk about later as well.
Yeah.
Although I could talk about it now whilst you're finding your notes.
Shuffling my paper.
Yeah.
Whilst I'm shuffling my paper, you can say.
Yeah, Christmas and New Year is generally the time where I want to watch a film more than anything. I think it goes back to the whole childhood thing of that's what was on the telly. Unfortunately, there were no films on the telly I wanted to watch. It was 3:30 on New Year's Day. I started looking for a film to watch. It took an hour. I was doing movie quizzes and everything, trying to find the one that I should watch next.
I love that you did that.
One of them was great. Fantastic. It gave me 35 films. The only problem was
35 films? Yeah. That's a yearly project.
I'd already watched all 35 and I wanted a new to me film. And so, it's clearly a great resource because it knew my tastes. I remembered that 20 years ago, probably more like 17, because I think that I'd been working at the charity shop, volunteering, and my family had chosen to watch the second Pirates of the Caribbean film.
Yeah.
And my mum found the villain so disgusting that she said she was never going to rewatch it. And we didn't have like the streaming services and everything then. I might have had a computer, but nothing to watch on it anyway. So I decided it was 2.5 hours. It's New Year's Day. I'm not doing anything else. I'll sit down and I'll watch the second Pirates of the Caribbean film.
I've never seen any of those movies, I want to say, just quickly.
Well, let me tell you, Charlie. I can't remember the first film because I watched it when it first came out.
When was
this
that?
second film came out in 2006, I think. So it's been 20 years. The first hour, I was really enjoying. I was invested. I was very happy with all of the ways that the characters' motives were fighting against one another and the reason that one person was doing something to get this from the other person and all that. It was brilliant quest stuff. And there was humor in there. There was adventure. There was a great soundtrack. It ends on a cliffhanger.
But there must be the other movie out, so why you I don't know.
2.5 hours of my time and it ends on a cliffhanger.
But then you just go and watch the next movie. It's not, if it's come out like 30 years ago, Charlie, you can watch it straight away.
No, I know that I could watch it, but it's the fact that I gave it 2.5 hours of my time and the story wasn't even finished yet.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's like a big investment.
I understand that last year I started the Wheel of Time series. Well, I didn't start it last year. About 3 years ago, I started the Wheel of Time series, which is 14 books. And at the end of each book, you still haven't got any flaming resolution. I get it. I get that.
In my head, when you say that, I have the Titanic meme of it's been 80 years or whatever it is, the old lady. Anyway, go on.
But yeah, I think it was more the fact that I'd waited 20 years to watch this film and it ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's a bit sucky.
When that happened, I don't even know that I have the wherewithal within me to dedicate to another film. You have to remember, I don't watch films often. It's taken me 20 years to watch that one. I was like hopeful that, right, that'll be the one film I watch this year because I don't watch them often enough. I mean to. Like, that's like a plan I've always had. One year I wanted to watch 50 films in a year, one every Sunday. I didn't do it. I'm unlikely to do that this year. But if I want to see how that flaming film resolves, I've got to dedicate myself to at least another 3 hours.
That is not okay. You say that, but that's what it feels like for me with the Lord of the Rings movies. I know this. I still, again, want to watch that because we said about this in the last episode. But yeah, it feels like a big commitment and you just didn't want that.
Oh yeah, that's exactly it. It's I didn't want a big commitment. I wanted something like I like a fantasy adventure around Christmas and New Year. You know this about me. That's like last week I talked about the cozy fantasy I wrote a few years ago. It's because at this time of year, autumn, winter, I'm craving fantasy adventure, and that's what I wanted. I wanted something like Jungle Cruise, where everything was almost wrapped up in one, and I didn't get it. However, I will say that one of the ways I see if a film is good is if I look at my phone. And I didn't look at my phone once, so that is something for it. But a cliffhanger after 2.5 hours.
It's not
Charlie.
okay. Charlie does not like cliffhangers.
Well, you've got to remember, I had the ultimate cliffhanger. Like the Charlie law here, we're going into it now because I've already mentioned it last week. Peak practice. I was finally allowed to stay up from bed until 9 o'clock in the evening. Peak practice used to start at 8 o'clock. And like the first series I was getting to watch on a Sunday from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock was Peak Practice. I watched what turned out to be the final series, and it ends on a cliffhanger. The female vet and her stalker, the stalker runs at her, they go off the cliff edge together. The credits roll as they're in mid-air, and there is no resolution.
But surely everyone just dies. I think that to me just gives everyone's dead, sorry.
Fine. Fine.
If you've gone off a cliff, you're not going to survive. I mean...
Well, What's on TV Guide said that the good character might have landed on a convenient ledge.
I doubt it. She's dead,
Don't
Charlie.
do this to me, Charlie.
She's dead. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry. Let's go on to your book to movie adaptations because I could sit here upset about Peak Practice all day.
Yeah, if you've seen Peak Practice and you feel the feelings, let us know. So I think I've got like 3 or 4 book to movie adaptations I want to talk about. There's one. I'm going to start with the big hit at the moment. There's The Housemaid, which was a book by Frida McFadden. I've never read any Frida McFadden. Have you read any of hers?
I haven't read any Frida McFadden, but she's become very popular at the shop. As soon as I put her books on the shelf, they immediately go. And I'm pretty sure, because I'm sure that it says it on the cover, it's like she was a author that became popular on TikTok. And
Yeah,
then
I think that's the case.
That's raised her profile.
Propelled her to superstardom. Yeah. But the movie is this big smash hit. It came out, I think, at the end of December, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
It's just been this big box office hit, and they've already planning to do this. As I was researching it this morning, they're already planning a second movie. Anyway, The Housemaid follows. I'm going to read you what I've got here because I don't forget. I don't know about it. It says The Housemaid follows a young woman, Millie, who has a dark past and is desperate for work. She's excitedly accepts the job as a live-in housemaid for a wealthy family, Nina and Andrew Winchester, who are played by Amanda Seyfried and Brandon Sklelner. I know Amanda Seyfried, but because she was in Mamma Mia anyway. Either which way. Soon she finds out their seemingly perfect life is far from it. So it's apparently split in two perspectives. We have first Millie's and then from Nina's. Nina is the villain who is a mentally unstable, harsh wife and mother, while Andrew does everything to keep her happy. So obviously this is what the movie is all about, and it's being really popular. Like, it could be one. I do like a thriller, and I did enjoy, there was a show on Amazon Prime, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, called The Girlfriend, that I watched, which was like a thrillery thing last year, which was brilliant over on Amazon Prime, like I said. Maybe I could be tempted to go to the cinema to see it.
Not for me. I know exactly who in my life will want to see that. I know my sister's going to be thrilled by it.
Yeah.
I can imagine she will get behind the books and everything. My mother will probably like it. Maybe even my father, but me? No.
The next one I'm going to mention is definitely not a Charlie Yu book, a film. Charlie Yu book / film.
Okay.
And this is going to be it's an Emily Henry adaptation. And it's people we meet on vacation. And apparently this is releasing on, which it seems like sounds like a very summary kind of thing.
Yeah.
But apparently it's going to be on Netflix from January 9th. So as you guys are listening, it's already just come out. And in this, we meet two best friends who, on 1 week of every summer vacation, they go on away together. It drops off. There's years, but they don't see each other. And then Poppy, who is one of the, it's Poppy and Alex. These are the main characters. Poppy reaches out to Alex and tries to convince him to just do this one last holiday together. Are they just friends, or is there more to their relationship? Which obviously it's a rom-commy kind of thing. So obviously it's a romance. So Emily Henry's books are very popular, and I think this will be a very popular adaptation.
Yes, as soon as you mentioned the date it came out, I was like, well, I know what my sister will be watching this weekend.
So loads of people are going to be watching it. Let us know if you're going to be watching it. Like I said, I knew this wasn't one for you, but I wanted to note it because I know my sister would love it, and I feel like it's going to be a very popular one.
Yeah, they're definitely like your Emily, my sister, both of them. These are going to be films for them. Well,
and speaking of my sister Emily, again, the next one's a very Emily one. I feel like this list is basically made, actually not the first Emily I don't think would like a thriller, but Wuthering Heights. Have you heard about this one coming out?
Oh, is this
It's a new adaptation.
Robbie, Jacob Elordi one? Yeah,
yes, it is. It is. And that is going to be released February 13th. So as we're listening, just a few weeks away.
You know.
We know where we're... I know what you're going to say. Here we go.
What am I going to say?
You're going to go on a Wuthering Heights tangent.
What was I going to say, though?
No, you do not like Wuthering Heights. You hate Wuthering Heights. He despises it.
In this family, we have to avoid everything to do with Wuthering Heights. What is my mother's name?
Kathy.
And what's my surname?
Heathcote.
And so can you see what happens there?
Yes, fair enough.
So there's been this whole thing since the DJ or whatever at her wedding wanted to play Wuthering Heights and she wasn't having it. I can remember being in high school reading Wuthering Heights. I had to write down my mother's name for, it might have been a trip or something, and people looked at me like, why are you writing down? I was like, I'm not writing down Heathcliff. You're like, have you forgotten your mother's? No, that is her name. Because until that point, she'd basically been known as Mrs. Charles's mum. I have read Wuthering Heights. We all know I've listened to it much and more. We all know that as much as I have tried to find something within this book that I like, it's just not there. However, I do like Patricia Routledge reading this book. She does a great job. Sometimes.
Oh, she died last year, didn't she? Oh,
she did. But you can still listen to the audiobook. I don't think that she was turning up every time to the microphone like, oh gosh, not again. But I still, weirdly, should this one go on a streaming platform, I might watch it simply for the controversy surrounding the trailer and
What's the controversy? Tell us the controversy,
Okay,
Charlie.
so basically it's the fact that neither of the actors is English. It looks like the director, whoever, has made some very odd decisions in terms of clothing. And like, my biggest thing from the trailer is the fact that they don't talk with Yorkshire accents. Like, I can forgive most of the things with this film because, like, everybody has their own interpretation when they're creating things. Like, you only have to look at Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet, or the symbolism and stuff he goes for. Like, he does really big set pieces, and if you watch anything with Kenneth Branagh that he's directed and done, one of the big things you'll see is, like, everything feels like a stage. Everything is very performative. So I can deal with the odd sort of visual choices, but this is Yorkshire. I want actual Yorkshire accents. These people can change their voices very well. They can do a number of accents. They could have learned Yorkshire. They could have learned out a note.
You'd think that Margot Robbie could afford that. I love Margot Robbie though. She's just beautiful, and she's just so talented, and I just love her. So I don't know. I'd be interested about this.
It feels like you're including that as a disclaimer in case I offended her.
No. I don't think Margot Robbie will be venturing to the as a child. I mean, maybe she is. Oh, another thing I've written down, which this one's quite far off. So
okay,
but I was excited for it because we finally got a date for it. So this is Sunrise on the Reaping. We finally got a date for when it's coming out.
Okay.
I say this because maybe the date has been flying around already, but I didn't know about the I knew it was coming out this year, hopefully, but we've got a date, so it's not till November 20th currently. Maybe that date will change because obviously these things do change often. But yeah, this is the book by Suzanne Collins, which is one of the Hunger Games books, and it's the one that's told from Hamish's perspective. That's it. Which I love Hamish, and I've read the book. That was a book I read last year, and it was a very fast read, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm so excited for the film, even though it's so far away. But I was just happy to see the date for it, to be quite honest. There's a couple more little things. This one may be one you might like. I don't think so, but I don't think any of these are actually very Charlie-ish ones, but whatever. The books, I think the books, so you'll be interested when we come to the books. So we've got Margot's Got Money Troubles, which is adapted from Ruthie Thorpe's book. We follow our main character, who's a young mother struggling to make ends meet, and so she starts an OnlyFans account. This movie stars Elle Fanning, and it's like a TV series. I think there's like 8 episodes. Okay. And this is coming out in April, so it's not that long. It's not that long to wait, really. April 15th over on Apple TV. This is definitely one I want to watch, but I've got the audiobook waiting for me on my Zigzag library, so I'm so excited for it. So it's Elle Fanning and Michelle Pfeiffer that are starring in it. So this is so exciting, and it's meant to have like this really like gentle humour in it as well. Right. So I'm very, very excited. I can say excited 100 times now, and I feel like it's going to be a popular one. Elle Fanning is quite very current, isn't she?
Maybe. I'm really enjoying this because it's like whenever you come up with these things, it reminds me of how I haven't seen anything current. I don't know anything that's going on in like any sort of celebrity or film world because I'm just completely out of the loop with everything.
Last one, we've got Project Hail Mary, which is a sci-fi by Andy Weir. My husband's got the book. He read the book. He's a big Andy Weir fan.
Yeah.
And this is coming out. The movie's coming out March 20th. So I feel like for the sci-fi fans, I put this in here for the sci-fi fans.
I watch sci-fi on the television, but like all these sci-fi films, I'm just like avoidant of. Yeah. It's like maybe I would enjoy them.
Maybe you would. Yeah.
Maybe. I might give it some time one day. I'm not making any plans, you know me. I don't want to be obliged to watch anything, read anything. Quite honestly, it's surprising that I managed to keep down a job because I hate being told I have to be somewhere and do something.
That is so true, Charlie. You do. You do hate that. Right, do you want to go on to some releases for this year?
What sort of releases have we got now?
Paperback releases.
Book
releases. We're talking about books. We're talking about books.
Okay.
The first one is one that's already come out last year. It's Palaver by Brian Washington, which is a book set in Tokyo. And it's about a mother and son relationship. Washington writes with warmth and precision about work, care, and chosen family. I've read some of Brian Washington's books previously. Actually, you sent me his book Memorial, which is probably my favourite book by him.
That was going to be my question. I was certain I'd heard the name before, and I was going to say,
you read it and sent it to me. Yeah, you sent it to me, which probably means you didn't really like it, being honest. But I'm really excited for it because I love his writing.
Is that the one where it's the gay couple and one of the fathers died and one's gone back to their homeland? Yeah,
and it's also but it's also again set in I think that one's set in Japan as well. I think from memory, but I did really love that book. Another one I've got that I feel like is going to be a popular one and people will be rushing out to get it is Half for His Age by Jeanette McCurdy. This is her fiction book that's being released this year. And it's a coming of age novel. It says teenagers. It's about a teenager's fixation on her married creative writing teacher and explores power and desire. That's out January 20th. Jeanette McCurdy released her memoir, which is I'm So Glad My Mum Died or something like that.
I mean, there's no so there. It's just I'm glad my mum died. But
that's the one. Sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to like add a Charlie spin to it. But yeah, so I really feel like this is going to be a popular one this year because her non-fiction memoir thing was such a big hit. It was probably one of the big hits the year it came out.
Yeah,
I can imagine her fiction being similarly popular.
It will be interesting to see the reaction from that one.
The last book I've got to talk about is a memoir by The Flower Bearers by Rachel Eliza Griffiths. And she is Salman Rushdie's wife, which I find very interesting. So this book it's a book that's of both sorrow and profound intimacy. Griffiths writes about care, friendship, marriage and survival, showing how mourning can force a reckoning with who we are. So that's that book. And it's very interesting. I just love the idea of a memoir by Salman Rushdie's wife. And the premise itself just sounds interesting. And I feel like it could be listed for the Women's Prize for non-fiction. Again, it's another one that I'm going to talk about every single week. I'll talk about the Women's Prize for non-fiction until they start to like pay attention to us.
Yeah, you can talk about the Women's Prize for non-fiction every week. I'll talk about peak practice. It will be fantastic.
Yeah. That's all we're going to do. Peak practice and Women's Prize for non-fiction. The last thing I was going to talk about the fact, because me and Charlie love Drag Race. Very, very recently, just a couple of days ago, they lit up the country because it's the year since the Vivienne passed away, sadly. And she's the first UK winner of UK Drag Race. And she was just such an icon. We both adored her, didn't we?
Well, I always go back to the conversation we had about if Rue ever left Drag Race UK, the Vivienne should take it over alongside Jade Thirlwall, and I can't remember who our third.
Can't remember either, but I do remember that conversation. So what they did was, in memory of the Viv, they lit up many, many venues. It was such a beautiful tribute to the Queen that was so beloved. The whole point of this is, as well, I wanted to note, said something that we can put in the description, I wanted to link to, is the House of Vivienne, because the House of Vivienne is an organisation that has been set up by James's sister as a support for substance abuse, and it's to sort of take away the stigma and stuff like that. And then also they're actually campaigning to reclassify ketamine as a Class A drug, so they're actually doing stuff. So I highly recommend that you check out. We'll put links to the Instagram in the YouTube description and anywhere you're listening descriptions. I wanted to note that I know we're normally quite a perky podcast, but this was important to mention. Yeah,
and off the back of that, the new series of RuPaul's Drag Race, the US season 18 came out on, I think it was Saturday.
I'm going to watch this. I'm behind.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Like, there are some series and some episodes where Charlie's not been watching. Like, we first bonded over Drag Race and Doctor Who and that sort of thing. And we would regularly chat about Drag Race and the favourite queens and all that sort of thing. But there are some times when Charlie hasn't watched and I've gone to her and said, I need you to watch this series. So last year? I think last year, and definitely the year that Nymphia was on, those were series that I told Charlie to watch.
And I loved them, to be fair, because I did watch them.
Watching the first episode of this series, I could forget about it.
Oh no, Charlie, don't say that. That's not what you said. You're just being honest.
One thing I liked about it was the fact that they had to make their own garments, and that's been one of the things that I haven't liked. Like, series 3 is one of my favourites because of the fact that there are so many design challenges. So I was glad that we got a design challenge in the first episode. But there are so many delusional people on this cast.
We like delusion, though, I want to say.
Sometimes. But there's also for me, it lacked authenticity.
Oh, no.
It felt like a lot of people playing up to the fact that they got cameras there. Maybe as we get rid of more of the queens as the weeks go on, you'll start feeling something for some of the people who are there. But my main takeaway from that entire episode was just annoyance. Just the way that people were behaving, the way that they're interacting with one another. I was not here for it. But I am hopeful as the series goes on that maybe it will improve and my opinion will change. But at the moment, I'd just be like, just avoid it. Just go and rewatch one of the earliest things.
Or maybe I did that anyway. I will watch the episodes because I like talking to Oscar about it. But often with episodes, especially with Drag Race, sometimes it's a grower. The more you're invested in these queens, that's when you. But let us know when you're the listeners, if any of you guys like Drag Race, let us know your favourite queens. My favourite American queen is Bob the Drag Queen. Back to Bookish, they released a book last. Was it last year? The
Harriet Tubman live in concert, wasn't it?
Yeah. So and I've got that as a. No, Kerry. I think Kerry gave it. I was going to ask if you gave it to me, but I think it was Kerry.
No, I didn't get you that one.
No, either which way. But that was a book. So that's a book that I recommend actually. And actually, if you listen to the audiobook of that, the audiobook of it's amazing. So yeah, Bob's one of my favourite queens, along with Ginger, who was on MasterChef recently. And Ginger, it is a UK queen, Ginger Johnson, and she won MasterChef. I was so happy that she won MasterChef. I was screaming because me and my daughter had been watching. We always watch MasterChef, and when she won, I was like beside myself. So
for me, favorite US queen is still Alaska.
Yeah, I know you love Alaska.
And, I mean, obviously there are loads from the US as well, and the UK queen is Kate Butch.
Oh yeah, Oscar. That's Oscar's favourite queen.
And one reason is also like a local thing. I'm pretty confident they came from quite nearby.
Yeah, they did. And we met her as well. We met loads of these queens because we went to DragCon last year. Kate was a lovely, lovely queen. They were like all the ones we met. We were lucky, like I said before, that they were so lovely. But
yeah.
Anyway, so we move on to we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions now.
Okay,
or the lack of, or whatever.
Lack of goals, lack of reading goals.
Yeah, what we're doing about goals. Goals.
So really, I think that one of the things that for me. And one of the reasons why I didn't want to do reading goals this year is because whilst they worked for me 2 years ago and the year before that, I kept them relatively simple. 3 years ago, goodness me, it's a long time. I just wanted to read all of Kate Atkinson's books. So I did that. The next year, I wanted to read all of Elizabeth Taylor's books. So I did that. Last year, I added so many goals to my list of things that I wanted to do and did not achieve a single one of them. And so then I ended up leaving 2025 with this like sense of failure, like I hadn't achieved what I wanted to achieve. As I read more of Barbara Pym, which was one of my goals last year, to read all of Barbara Pym's books, I realized that she wasn't an author I could read every month because a lot of her books are on, they have a similar tone, they're on a similar topic, and I enjoy that, but I have to be in a specific mood for that. Whereas both the authors I'd chosen before had written quite different books.
Yeah.
And so this year, I was just like, I'm not doing goals. But in not doing goals, I have inadvertently given myself a goal.
Tell me more.
If you remember, another thing I did a few years ago was I stopped buying any new books.
Yes.
And I decided that I was just going to read the books from my shelves and regularly created TBRs from the books on my shelves.
Yes.
And so I've given myself that goal again.
That's okay, though. That's a healthy goal.
Of just reading the books from my shelves. I don't know whether 0 is ever a number that I could reach because I didn't reach it that first year, but I did do very well.
You got very close though.
Yeah.
You were in like the double digits, like you were very like...
Yeah.
Like down to 20, 30 books, I think.
And I'd like to get down to that number again.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I stopped that, I just went a little bit haywire and I started acquiring books whenever I wanted them. I've got supermarket bags in my room full of books that I haven't touched. I have to go through those bags again because I can't even remember what's in them. I've got double stacked shelves with books on. I've got birthday presents from 2024 that I haven't read yet. That has become the goal, is to actually read from my shelves. So while
that's a healthy, like I said, it's a healthy goal.
While I want to say, no, I have no goals, I do have a goal, and it's to read the books I already own. And I also created a list, Charlie.
You didn't write a list. That's definitely against the goal thing, Charlie. That is literally like writing, like having like an airy, like a kind of an airy fairy one about like your reading from your shelves. I feel like that's kind of quite broad. Whereas when you write a list,
I wrote a list.
That's very specific. Tell me all about this list, Charlie. I want to hear all about this list.
I wrote a list of books over 500 pages that I wanted to read.
500 pages? Yeah. Charlie, how many books have you got on your shelves?
This is specifically for the big books, the books that I avoid due to the length of them.
But you love a big book. Last year was your year of big books.
Last year was the year of the heft. Last year, like the majority of my favourite books were over 500 pages, but I still don't automatically navigate towards those books. So
This
I
is
created
very-
a list of the ones that I want to prioritise, some of which were on like the list of unread books from a few years ago. They're like the priority. I want to read them.
Feels like the never-ending list. That is what I've got. The never-ending story theme running in my head.
I specifically capped it. So I was like, these are the 10 big books that I want to read.
Well, do you want to tell us them then, Charlie? Have you got the list in front of you?
No, which was a bad idea, but I can remember the majority of them.
Well, go through what you can remember. Tell us.
Anna Karenina.
Yeah, that's a good book. I've read that.
I have read it before.
Yeah.
But I want to see, I read it as a very bored
younger person.
I want to see how I feel about it now.
Yeah.
And then at the weekend, a friend of mine visited the shop and was she had learnt some Dove off me, which is over 800 pages, and she recommended War and Peace to me.
I wouldn't touch that one. You're not going to read that. There is no way I would pay money that you're not going to read that book.
She thinks that I will really enjoy that book, and she told me to prioritise that over Anna Karenina.
Isn't that meant to be like? There's meant to be like a sewage scene. Is that the one with the sewage scene? Like battle scene. The battle scenes. The battle scenes. Because Les Mis is the other big one.
Yeah. 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami.
You've had that on your list forever.
That was on the previous list of unread books from like 2024. In terms of Dickens, I think I've got 3 of Dickens' big books left to read. So
Which ones?
Oliver Twist, Little Dorrit, and Bleak House.
I can imagine you reading Little Dorrit and Bleak House, but you're not going to read Oliver Twist. You hate that. You just hate Oliver Twist. Charlie has a hatred of Oliver Twist.
I do, and that's why it's going to be the last one that I read. But
you're not going to read it, Charlie.
I only want to read one of them. I'm not putting all of them on the list.
You're not going to read Oliver Twist.
You're so mean to me.
You're not going to, Charlie. You and Oliver just don't get on. Sorry.
It's true. We really don't. I don't know why he's so horrible.
Have a twisted relationship with Oliver Twist.
Let's just say that they're the few that I've got now. And like, obviously, maybe a bigger Anthony Trollope, maybe a big John Steinbeck. They weren't all
which Steinbeck?
I love East of Eden or Grapes of Wrath. But I've been talking about East of Eden for years.
Everyone talks about East of Eden. I personally... the Grapes of Wrath, I think you might find too sad, but I just love the Grapes of Wrath. Actually, I love both of them. No, I love both of them. Oh my gosh, could I pick? Grapes of Wrath is the one I read first, and so out of the two, and it's just this big sweeping novel, and I feel like you would probably like East of Eden more, but this Charlie likes Grapes of Wrath more because I feel like there's so much heart in it, even though it's a lot of despair and very sad and sadness.
And I just remembered that one of them was the next Wheel of Time book I've got to read. And then another one was the Philip Pullman Book of Dust that I got as well. So like...
Yeah, you'll read. I can imagine you reading that.
That's like a subcategory of reading all of the books from my shelves, was also getting some of the bigger books from my shelves.
Okay then. Good luck with that one, Charlie.
This Charlie who was supposed to be goalless this year, 2026 was supposed to be the year of just doing things as I wanted to do them. I was like, nah, I need to go forward with a goal.
Yeah, whereas me, I'm literally, so I'm not using the big revelation. I think I said this on the podcast last week. I'm not using Storygraph this year. So I may use it as a tool to look up like ratings of books and things like that and information about books because I find that quite helpful. But I'm only using the box that I showed you everyone last week. I already described it last week, if you don't know. And this is a box where I'm just writing all my books down analog. So, and in 4 different categories we've got, that is happening.
That box is going to take us through 2026.
It is, therefore, and I'm not even doing counting them. So I'm just literally writing down which books and just putting them in and not even thinking about it because I'm trying to read. It's not like I want to read less or read whatever. It's just I do want to read less actually, but I don't want to read with like a pressure in my head.
Yeah.
Or I don't really understand it. It's definitely, this is a Charlie thing, definitely. In terms of reading, there's a few plans I'm going to say for the year. I'm doing Books for Bowel Cancer this year, which is a readathon I run last year, which raises awareness about bowel cancer. I'm going to do that in April. Two of my lovely bookish friends, Jen and Carys, are doing the reading spa this year, and it's so low key. And I feel like a reading spa channels all the energies that I want to channel this year. It's like this cool little quizzy thing they're releasing every single month where you take a little quiz and that helps you pick your reading. So that's going to help guide my reading. Apart from that, and also obviously the women's prize, like I said, I'll be following, but I'll probably do it slightly more loosely, I say, and then as soon as I see the list, I'll be completely addicted. One thing I'm going to note is that I am logging. I became obsessed with spreadsheets. I have become. Charlie knows this. I want to be accountable for every penny I spend on books this year, and just so I have an idea in my head about what I'm spending. I'm curious because I don't really like. So that this is going to be a thing this year. I think that's really it. Really.
Wow.
Obviously the book I'll be keeping an eye out for.
Yeah.
I kind of again. I think you'll be the same as me.
Yeah. I'm just really enjoying that 2 weeks ago, or maybe even longer than that, we've said about this.
But
Like,
this isn't like mine. Is not goals.
they
That's
are
not
goals though.
They're
They
not
like
goals.
okay, fine. Let's rename them then. Let's call them intentions. There's still some.
They're not intentions. They're not goals.
There is
They're
still
like
some looking
things
towards
on
the
the
future
horizon.
and things that you're doing and like you're heading towards. And most people are heading
Possibly
towards
heading towards
a goal. So it's just a goal that you don't want to call a goal.
No, a goal is something you tick off. That is not a tick off. I don't think that's a tick off thing. And I don't feel like even with the reading spark,
You can
if I
tick off
don't do it,
anything.
I mean, no, because I'll tell you, my normal goals, Charlie, this is the thing. My normal goals, I have like read five library books, read 5 big books, I read way more than 5 library books. I think the library one that's a lie. But like, I normally am very specific and I tick them off and I do. I'm 90%, I complete them. I'm a very completionist with things like that, especially with the tick list. Give me a tick list and I'm there.
The only thing
you
seem to be lacking there is just the specificity of it, though.
Yeah, but I don't need that. So if I want to read some of the ones,
I know you don't need that, but they still sound like goals to me.
They're not goals.
Okay, I think
they're not goals. Mine aren't goals. You've got a friggin' list.
I've got a list. Yeah, I told.
If you've got a list, that's
I admitted
more specific.
Immediately that I thought I said no goals, and then I created goals.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
but you think I'm in denial.
I think you're in denial. I think we need.
Not in denial. I'm not in denial. That's not goals. They're like plans. I feel like they're loose things that are on the horizon this year that are bookish that I'm telling you about.
Okay,
they're not goals.
You call them whatever
Maybe
you
I could
want
say,
to, but I am certain they count as goals.
No. Maybe the books for bowel cancer, because that's something I definitely want to achieve. But the rest of it, I'm not so. And actually, this podcast, I guess, one a goal, isn't it? So maybe, I don't know. That's just the thing that we're doing. It's a hobby.
That's it. She quits next week because she refuses to have any goals.
I'm not in denial. I'm not setting goals.
Okay.
These aren't goals. They aren't goals.
That's fine. You haven't got any goals. You're perfectly fine in your goalless oblivion.
Another thing I'm going to do, I did mention this last week. I want to talk about it. My tin of happiness. So I've got a tin of happiness. I'm holding up a bee tin. It's an Emma Bridgewater Bumblebee tin. And on the top, it says Charlie's Box of Happiness 2026. So in this, I've done this before. And I implore all of you, if you want to take part in having your own box of happiness, because just all you need is a box or a list, maybe on A4 sheet of paper, and every time you have a happy moment, just write it down and stick it in the tin. And that's what I'm doing, because then at the end of the year, you go back through that tin and you'll have a whole tin that's full of happiness, because there's so many things you forget about. I always write down the date as well, what the happy thing was. And I've got slips of paper. I'm going to open the box and show Charlie. So everyone that's listening, I will show you. Watching, sorry, I will show you. So can you see there's these slips of paper? And
I see the slips of paper.
Yeah. And these are, and also for this tin, the other tin is just plain paper. This is like paper that has like cute things. So we've got like wildlife creatures, we've got it's birds and all sorts of things on one side, and then the other side is obviously plain, so you can write it down. But yeah, this is I'm so excited for this.
It's so interesting to me the way that it's great, like the move away from the digital and everything that you're doing, and like it's more analog, you're writing down and there is an intention behind it. But I just find it so funny.
What? Because you think that's a goal?
No, I wasn't even thinking about it was a goal. I was just thinking about you and your boxes.
No, yeah, I love these boxes. These are boxes of joy. Like this is
a box for everything.
There's 2 boxes. It's not for everything, Charlie. That's just 2 boxes.
Okay.
I'm very excited by my boxes. And also I feel like, especially with the joy thing and the happy moments, I think it's a fun thing to get people doing, because there's so many things that by the end of the year you've forgotten that you've done. There's like, we're lucky because we record our happy moments at the end of each video. So there are other things obviously that happen each week as well, but on top more than that, it's just so nice at the end of the year, satisfying, because I've done this before, like I said. And when you look back at all the things that you've forgotten about, because you obviously, whenever we take photographs, but there are so many moments that you completely forget about. The little things, it's all the little things.
I appreciate this wholeheartedly, but it still makes me chuckle. Just you and the boxes.
Because it's you and being cynical.
No, it's not me being cynical. I just think it's such a Charlie thing that you would.
It is Charlie.
Yeah, but I feel like you you could have the converse of that. You could write down all your sad moments, put them in the box, and then just never go back to it. Like, once they're in the box, they're boxed forever. Leave them there. Don't bring them out again.
Why would you write that down? That's like
to get rid of it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you mean to get it out of your head and then bury the box in the garden?
It's gone. Once it's in the box, it's gone. You don't think about it again.
What? And then at the end of the year, you dig it in.
And then at the end of the year, you set fire to it.
Set fire to oh my gosh, yeah, set fire to the box. We won't be setting any fires. We don't advocate setting fires here, not unless it's in a safe space where you can set fire to things. We don't. We don't.
We were definitely in a sync there, because that is what I was going to say.
These are some things for the year that I've. they're not goals. These aren't goals. These aren't goals, Charlie.
They're not goals or intentions for 2026. Fantastic.
No, I'm not having goals or intentions.
Okay, well, how about you tell me what you're currently reading, then we'll move away from it.
Yeah, okay. So, the beginning of this year, I finished West by Carys Davies, and this was a book that was gifted to me by my lovely friend Carey, who I'm going to talk about again. Sorry, Carey. We both, in September, for Shorty September, there was a prompt where you basically had to annotate a book and then send it to a friend. And so this is what we did. I sent a book to Carey. I sent Lois the Witch and by Elizabeth Gaskell, and I annotated that, and I had so much fun annotating. I hadn't actually annotated anything for such a long time, which will lead into another thing in a minute. She annotated West and sent it to me. That was this would go into a happy moment, but I've got so many other happy moments to talk about. Carys Davies writes very, very short books. I think it's, again, less than 150 pages. This is obviously set in America. Our main character, who it says in here Cy Bellman, but I'm sure his first name was John, if I remember rightly in the book. The beginning of the book, he is just about to set off and go on this big journey to head west in America to find these big ginormous creatures that it's never specifically named as a mammoth, but I think it's a mammoth. Right. He's off and searching of these big ginormous creatures, like dinosaurs / mammoth type creatures. And he's on this hunt. So he leaves behind his daughter Bess, and he leaves her behind. His wife is, so we know at the beginning of the book his wife is no longer here. You don't really at the beginning of the book understand fully what's happened, but you do discover that as you read further. So I don't want to do too much spoilers into it. He goes off on this journey, and Bess is left behind. So we're hearing from his perspective about the things, his adventure quotes, and then also we're hearing about Bess. I love this book. I love Carys Davies' writing. I feel like I just want to read every single thing. Like I said in my favourites of the year video, I really want to read every single thing that Carys has written. And I loved Carey's notes. I wish I had it here to show you. I was looking around for it and I put it down and I just can't see where I've put it, because obviously in the New Year tidy thing. Her notes were really, really amazing, and they were so humorous. The very first bit I opened up was there was a dedication that Carys had written to these letters of people, and Carey was like, "Who are these people?" And that was one of the first things I saw, and it just made me chuckle straight away. So that was the vibe for the whole thing. She was making her notes were insightful, they really, really were, but they also made me laugh a little bit, and that added an extra layer to it. And I found myself annotating back to her. It was just a lovely reading experience. And then also I had finished Hungry Paul. You know this. Hungry Paul.
I was going to ask whether you had.
Hungry Paul was the first book I finished the year. Charlie knows this. The reason I saved it to talk about it now is that I'm rereading it already as soon as I finished it. Literally, Charlie was like, Charlie said to me, "Why don't you just reread it?"
Well, as somebody who regularly reread one book last year 4 times over, I just recommend it. If you really want to just go straight back into the world, you go straight back into that world.
Leonard and Hungry Paul, for those of you who don't know, is just about these two friends. It's not really much to the plot. At the beginning of the book, we learn that Leonard's mum has sadly died, and then he goes off and he obviously seeks out Hungry Paul. And it's just, the writing is just so beautiful. So as soon as I finished it, like I said, I and this is a TV show that's out on the BBC. Those are in the UK, you can watch the adaptation that's done of it. This book is by Rónán Hession, and so he's an Irish author, and the actors aren't all Irish, but it's done in an Irish accent.
Yeah.
It's set in Ireland. The book is set in Ireland. Yeah, it's this friendship. It's just these quiet moments that happen in life, and there is like little bits, moments that talk about grief, but it's not really heavily focused on that, and it's not full of sadness, it's not full of plot. It's just this writing that I just loved. And as I've gone back through and reread it, again, because the annotating thing, I'm going back and annotating, and I'm waving around this book. Those of you listening on the podcast, I got for my Christmas present, I got an annotation garden, which are these, obviously they're these like things that you can annotate and stick them at the top of your book. So it basically looks like by the end of it, when at the time I've gone through my book, it'll look like I've got a garden at the top of my book. So there's like roses, yellow, like marigoldy kind of things. There's some grass. There's all these beautiful flowers that are sticking then out of the top of your book, which side note, is an extra thing that I love. So yeah, that's me. How about you? Tell me what you're reading.
Every year since 2020, if not the year before, Sarah over at Hardcover Hearts on YouTube has held a read-along of 84 Charing Cross Road by Helene Hanff, and it's only about 94 pages, and it's these letters that the author sent to a bookshop in London, and then they would write back to her, and it's very much a book lover's book. They're conversing about rationing and nylons and all these books that she wants, and you get a very good idea of who these people were, and it's just quite interesting and fascinating and nostalgic. I do enjoy going to that. In my edition, you also have The Duchess of Bloomsbury Street, which is a sequel but is written in diary entries after the book has come out and is being decidedly popular, and you get the author going to London and hearing about her experience and what she liked, disliked, that sort of thing. I'm only 30 pages into that one because the book that I wanted to finish by the end of 2025, I didn't finish. And I always say that I am in January only reading short books. I'm going to make sure that I've like boosted the number of books that I've read at the start of the year.
That's what you said in the last episode.
Yeah, and Charlie said she was completely different to that, from that, and that she likes to go to a chunky book.
That's the first thing I normally head to. Yeah.
So I have ended up reading The Amber Spyglass by Philip Pullman, a chunky book at 525 pages. And so I haven't read loads and loads of books. I've read I've read 2 books in the last week, but one of them has taken up the bulk of that time, and that was The Amber Spyglass.
That's so hilarious that we've literally flipped.
Yeah, we flipped. The reading experience has been completely different this time around because of the fact that obviously I listened to it before, I didn't pay as much attention. And so in reading it, I'm finding it much bleaker than I found listening to it. And I'm getting a new appreciation of it. There are loads of plot moments that I actually remember. Like, they stuck with me because they were so vivid in the telling of them. But in reading them, I'm just like, oh, actually, this is very tense. This is a lot more tense than I remember it being. And feeling somewhat disgusted and saddened and sickened by things that were happening in the book. It's very grim. It's very dark. When I'm reading it, I'm like, how were so many of my friends reading this when I was at primary school?
Yeah.
Honestly, I struggled with some other things I was reading at primary school due to subject matter, and this, I definitely could not have read this at the ages of 9 and 10 when my friends were reading this book. But it has invigorated my want to go and read the books from the Book of Dust after this. However, my plan is for The Duchess of Bloomsbury Street and also Leonard and Hungry and Paul, and then I'll think about the other books that I've got on my shelves.
Really, really want Charlie to read Leonard and Hungry Paul. I'm desperate to hear. Then it's going to be fine. I won't. I'll absorb whatever. I'll take whatever you take, whatever you think of it.
Well, I'm looking forward to it because I'm looking forward to like what you've said about just the quiet moments and like talking about life and that sort of thing. So we'll see.
I have got a book that's on my reading horizons.
Okay.
That I'm going to hold up for the viewers watching. And it is Feed the Planet, which is a photographic journey to the world's foods, and it's by John Steinmetz, text by Joel Bourne, and forward by Michael Pollan. It's like a collaborative affair, this book.
Yeah.
And this is the one that won one of the Wainwright prizes. I cannot remember. I think it was at the Illustrative Book Prize or something like that. Because I finished The Perimeter last year, Charlie I was talking about it all
That's
year.
exactly what I'm thinking of right now, is the fact that you did the perimeter and then you've got this
So
other
now, yeah,
huge book.
this is going to be one I read with my husband in the evenings, just like I did the perimeter. And I literally this morning took the plastic off, so I left it in the plastic. I got it for my birthday, and I left it in the plastic. I was so good. I'd not been tempted to open it until we were ready to read it. And this morning I took the plastic off, and I'm so excited.
Oh my goodness!
And
She took the
flicked
plastic
it open,
off,
and I'm so excited. I was flicking inside it, and the images I'm going to show for the people watching. Can you see? I mean, that is
we can
just
see.
spectacular. So in it,
But I'm
local
sure
farmers,
that,
tractors. There's like thousands and thousands of tractors in the images, and it's just it's going to be an epic thing that I read this year, and I'm going to just take my time with it as I did with the perimeter.
another goal.
No, it's not a goal.
It's
not a goal. It's a treasured treat to dive into. Books are treasured treats, and this is going to be my treasured treat that I'm going to devour through the year.
Okay.
It's not a goal. I'm not. Charlie doesn't have goals. So should we talk about our happy moments for the week?
I think that's probably a good idea.
You go first. Or do you want me to go first and then if I go first, then you can think?
Yeah, we'll start with you. You tell us what your happy moments of the week have been, and I will try and think of one because there's got to be one somewhere.
I've got 3.
What, you've got enough for the both of us?
I've probably got actually more than that because I've been writing them down every day, so it's really, really handy. The first thing I'm going to say about is the thing that the whole country has been obsessed with, and I am still included in that. The Traitors. I've been watching The Traitors.
Yeah.
The Traitors is very much a happy thing. And it's been so much fun. Obviously, last week Oscar was home. Well, even though that's sad though, because they've gone back yesterday. Broke my heart. But yeah, we started watching that at home with them. All whilst again messaging my lovely friend Jen. I always talk about my friends. I'm sorry. This is season 4, and it's an amazing season. I'm sure you've been seeing it on social media, Charlie. So there's a big thing this season about the secret traitor. So normally you have traitors, regular traitors. They're in charge of stuff. This season, there's been a red cloaked traitor. Those we've watching internationally, I'm sure everyone else is obsessed with traitors. I don't know whether there's ever been a traitor that's a secret traitor before in the other seasons. So anyone watching? I think
while I haven't watched The Traitors, I have heard people talking about this, and generally what they've been saying is that there have been secret traitors in other versions of the franchise.
Yeah, I have not seen that.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but people on Twitter or whatever it's called nowadays, or Blue Sky, that sort of thing, that's what they've been saying.
Well, either which way, I've never seen any other. I don't. Right, I've watched some other seasons. Actually, that's a lie. I'm obsessed with the US seasons because we've got Alan Cumming. I think presents it. He's amazing. And also, like I said, Bob the drag queen.
I knew that was where we were going. I knew that Bob would get mentioned again.
Yeah, Bob was in the US season. Anyway, but I'm not going to talk about traitors too much. But yeah, obsessed. And we've been trying desperately to work out who the secret traitor is. We did again back to spreadsheets. So I created a spreadsheet where we voted. Me and my 2 children, we voted and we did like a pot, like ranked like points for each person, how likely we think they are to be the secret traitor. And so we episode by episode we've been reviewing it, and we're just obsessed with it, as is the whole country. But it's been a happy moment. The second thing, another thing that I watched recently at the weekend was Wicked for Good. I finally watched it, Charlie.
I haven't watched either of them.
I know, but I watched the first. I waited to watch the first one,
okay,
so I could say that, because I knew the second part was coming out. That's why I didn't watch the first one last year.
Right.
Anyway, so I finally watched the second one at the weekend with Oscar, and I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I didn't cry though.
No, you didn't cry.
I didn't cry. And that's odd for me because Charlie knows I'm a big crier. So.
We talked about it last week.
Yeah, I didn't cry. And I was like, is there something wrong with me? I didn't cry watching this.
Not as emotional as you expected it to be.
No, I think it did give me feelings, but I know that I've seen that people literally sob after watching this. Maybe because I haven't had the build up of having a year to wait for it. Maybe that ruins some of the the build up of these feelings that you have in these emotions. Yeah, it was beautiful. I can't wait to I'm going to be listening to. I already started listening to the soundtrack straight after, because this is again who I am. So that's my second happy moment. And my last happy moment before, so you can talk about your happy moment, is I finally am teaching myself to crochet. Again, I'm not having any goals. I'm not
not saying anything now.
No, I know you're not. You're just refusing to comment. But crocheting is something that's been like a life thing that I've been wanting to try and teach to learn last year and the year before, even like since before Alice was when Alice was here, because Alice loved crocheting and so does my lovely friend Jack, and actually Jem loves crocheting as well. So all three of them, these big crochet people, and I've never been able to do it. Every single time I've been trying to do it, I failed. So, but this weekend I finally succeeded into getting past because normally I could do the first row, but the second row I just couldn't do before. And then, but I made my a whole little like a square. I mean, it was very, very wonky.
Yeah.
Like it was extremely wonky. I think did I send it to you? The picture of it.
I don't
Maybe
think
I
you did
do.
know, but it
Okay.
reminded me of when I tried, like you talking about that reminded me of when I tried learning to knit a few years ago. And I've never tried again since because it was like as soon as I found out the method behind doing it, that's all I wanted to know. I didn't care
So
about
funny.
learning any of
That's
the
so you,
other
Charlie.
stitches. I was just like, right, I know the basic, don't need to know, do any anymore.
Yeah, but I'm
Um,
obsessed, and yeah, I want to go on and I want to learn. I want to practice it, and then I want to learn because I've just done like the initial very early beginners one, and I want to learn. My eventual goal is to make a granny squared blanket. This is my eventual thing, but this is quite far in the
yeah,
future because you have to learn these other stitches I've got to learn first. So yeah,
okay, I understand. Like, yeah,
but it made me happy because I finally managed to get past the first row. I did a whole like I said the squares. So I'm
yeah,
so, like
I am
literally
happy for you.
joy. I'm joy. It's joy,
Yeah.
joyful happiness. So tell me your happy moments. Have you thought of something, Charlie? Please tell me you've thought of
I
something.
haven't thought of anything really.
You must have
Um,
had something good happen this week. Like the snow is really lovely. We spoke about that at the beginning of the episode.
yeah, no, we talked about the snow, and admittedly, like I did enjoy being hunkered down under those blankets, and I feel like it didn't necessarily have this happy moment. I suppose what I could go for, and it's very, very small, very like
The small things are the best things,
no,
Charlie.
but I mean like it feels somewhat inconsequential in terms of the entirety of the week, but it did leave me feeling somewhat happy.
Yeah.
Just this brief momentary thing, if I think about it, was
Yeah.
New Year's Day when I took the dog for her walk and we were going down the towpath. And as we get onto the towpath, there are some people leaving, and it was simply them saying Happy New Year.
Oh,
And, they were clearly very jolly. They were all quite happy. One of them might actually have had the bottle of alcohol that, you know, but, start the year as you mean to go on. It was, I feel like that those sorts of days, like, if you go on a walk on Christmas Day as well with your dog, you find it like you'll get a Merry Christmas, you'll get a Happy New Year. These moments where everyone's almost convivial with each other. And because in that moment, like the Happy New Year actually felt somewhat sincere. Whereas
it was sincere. It must have been sincere. I believe it was sincere.
that's what I mean. I mean that it was
Yeah.
sincere. Whereas when I'm at work and like people you work with, people that you see all the time are saying Happy New Year, there's like it's almost like this sense of they're saying it because they have to say it, not because
Like a
they mean
duty.
it. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't need you to say Happy New Year. We're a week in now. You know, when I'm
I
at
would say
work
it all year
tomorrow,
if
I
I
imagine
could.
I'm going to get a few more.
I would say
Like,
it all year
yeah.
if I could.
So I'm going to take that one moment. I'm going to take that
Oh,
one group of people on the towpath just taking the time to say Happy New Year and it feeling sincere.
that was beautiful, Charlie. That's just beautiful. I love that. And
But that's
it
all I've
is
got.
like to me, no, but you say it's all, but it's those little moments that I love, and that's why I'm writing them down in my box, those little things, because it's all those little things that add up. But
Yeah,
they really do, because you forget. We focus, I feel like, or for me, I focus so much on the negative things, and that's why we love our podcast. This is why with our podcast, we always end on a happy moment, because we want to try and focus on the positive things, and that's
yeah,
why, like, with the happy box thing that I've got, like, I just think these tiny little slice of moments that you're saying, like, you thought that was insignificant, like, but then no, that's massive. Like that is a gorgeous moment, and I just think it should be celebrated. And I think it's
yeah.
wonderful that you have mentioned it. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Charlie.
No, you're perfectly fine. It's the only thing I could think of.
No, but I bet there are more. You need to get yourself a happy box, Charlie.
No
I
idea.
am. You do. You need a happy box. I think you should get yourself a happy box so you can write down all those little tiny moments
I
that you're going to forget
literally
about.
can, as I mentioned last week in passing, I can't bring anything else into this house. I have to um
You got the thing coming
yeah, I've
soon.
got all of this building stuff happening soon, so everything which we're actually trying to reduce, we're trying to get rid of things so they'll be able to
That's
get
fair
in.
enough.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I can't have a happy box. My happy box can stay in the ether.
But we can keep your happy moments here. That's fine.
Yeah. If you want
Should
to
we?
know when Charlie's been happy, just come here. It's such a rare occurrence, he can only mention it once a week.
No, that's not true anyway. So thank you everyone for listening. Should we sign this? Should we round this all up now? Think so. Let us know. Let us know the things that books like. Just have a chat
Yeah.
with us in the YouTube
What have
comments or
you
the
been
comments
reading
wherever you're
this
listening.
week? Or any films that you're looking forward to? Have you made any goals for
Yeah.
2026? Or are you
Are you
going
in
forward
denial
without
about
any
goals?
goals at all? Or, like my good friend Charlie over here, are you in denial?
I don't think I am in denial, but we'll discuss that in the comments.
Yeah.
Is Charlie
Um,
in denial?
Charlie is in denial. We know this.
No, I'm
Anyway,
not in denial. Yeah.
do we know what we've got in store for them next week?
No, we'll see.
No, we don't.
There's some
We'll
good
just
stuff.
see what
We've
happens
got some
when it
good
happens.
stuff.
Because, quite frankly, I've gone too long without a cup of tea. So I'm
Yeah,
off.
I need.
All right.
Yeah.
Ta-da.